Welcome to Lessons Across Species. Bubbles weighed 86 grams. She should have weighed 32, and that difference was enough to make breathing, something that should be invisible, into work. Bubbles was a parakeet who came in because she was having trouble breathing. When I first saw her, she was on her perch, but something was really off. Her tail was bobbing up and down with each breath. In birds, breathing should almost be invisible. This wasn't. Even picking her up felt risky. Birds can head south quickly when they're stressed, especially if something is already wrong. But once I had her in my hand, something became very clear. Bubbles weighed 86 grams. A typical parakeet weighs around 32 to 34 grams. It's hard to picture what that means, but it's roughly like a 150-pound person weighing close to 400 pounds. Think about that. She wasn't struggling because of infection. She was struggling because her body was carrying more than it was really built to handle. Her lungs couldn't expand easily. Her muscles couldn't support her. Even standing on a perch had become work. And this is the part that stays with me. I don't just see this in birds. I see this in dogs who hesitate before getting up, who stop using stairs long before age explains it. I see it in cats where it's quieter, less jumping, more sleeping, gradual weight gain that eventually turns into diabetes. I've even seen it in reptiles, animals whose legs physically can't support their bodies anymore because their weight has outpaced their structure. Different species, same pattern. Obesity is not just extra weight, it's a disease process. It changes how the entire body functions. Fat tissue affects metabolism, it affects joints, it changes how insulin works. It increases the workload on the heart and the lungs. But most of the time, that's not how it's seen by owners. Most owners are genuinely surprised when I tell them their pet is overweight, because what they see is something else. They see they're well fed, they're happy, they're so loved. And the change happens slowly enough that it becomes normal to them. But what the animal experiences is very different. They experience effort. Effort to stand, effort to move, effort simply to breathe. And because that happens so gradually, it doesn't feel urgent until suddenly it is. With Bubbles, we were already there. Her body had reached a point where it couldn't compensate anymore. And this is where misunderstanding turns into harm. When we think weight is harmless or even a sign that we care, we wait. We wait until mobility is limited. We wait until disease is established. We wait until the animal is already struggling. And by then, the path back is way harder. The difficult part is that this often comes from a good place. Feeding is how we bond. It feels like comfort. It feels like connection. But in medicine, intention and outcome don't always match. So over time, I've changed how I approach this. I don't talk about weight as a cosmetic issue. I treat it like a vital sign, something measurable, something that directly reflects the health of the patient. I ask very specific questions. What exactly is being fed? How much and how often? And what does a normal day of activity look like? Because the reality is simple. Pet owners control the inputs. They control the portion size. They control calorie density. They control access to food and opportunities for movement. And that means they also have one of the most powerful tools in preventative care. The changes aren't dramatic. Appropriate portions, consistent routines, and daily movement that fits a species. Over time, those small decisions shape the entire trajectory of a patient's health. Lean pets live longer. Let me say this again, and please hear it. Lean pets live longer. That's true across species: dogs, cats, birds, reptiles, you name it. And most of the time, they don't have a way to opt out of what we choose for them. Bubbles didn't choose her weight, but she was living with its consequences. And what stays with me isn't just the number on the scale. It's the image of her on that perch, working to do something that should have been effortless. Because across species, I see the same truth again and again. The body keeps track of what we ask it to carry, and eventually it answers. If this changed how you think about the weight in pets, please subscribe for more. And if you want the full story and how this shapes how I approach practice, you can read it in this week's essay on Substack, Lessons Across Species.